was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. But yeah, just protecting those moments, because people take for granted encounters, and I just want to protect her, Go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody.
Do you realize how important your story is? Every time I have a conversation with someone who's been through this unique type of experience, I'm searching for some kind of truth that can help.
I commend you for going there and asking the tough questions and the things that people don't want to talk about, and they don't want to go there because it's revealing. And
Justin's response is pretty emotional, where he confesses about how tough it was being young and trying to fit into an industry where people can turn on you in an instant. Unfortunately, the only option Justin seems to have now is to go and ask Diddy the hard questions himself.
Joining me now is celebrity and royal reporter Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, more revelations about Sean Combs, better known as P. Diddy. According to a report in Page 6, he once wanted Prince Harry and Prince William to join him on his wild parties while they were still bucks and getting into a lot of trouble themselves. What more can you tell the audience about this, and who are some of the big names that attended Diddy's freak-off party?
Yeah, and Prince Harry was even mentioned in a $30 million sexual assault lawsuit filed against Diddy earlier this year. Harry was used an example of celebrities that are associated with Diddy, but also the kinds of shields that Diddy used to avoid consequences, though Harry is not accused of any wrongdoing. I don't know about the freak-offs, but Page 6 reports some of the big celebrities at these events were Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, Tommy Lee, Pam Anderson, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Mariah Carey. So a lot of people keeping their head down, not saying anything right now.
And I noticed there's been a connection made with certain celebrities deleting their entire ex-Twitter histories in the last few days, and people are there's a bit of conjecture about whether that's at all connected with this business. What can you tell me about that?
That's Usher, and I do understand why people are asking questions about Usher, because Usher has spoken out about some of the vulgarity he saw while he was in Diddy's care. So, would he be trying to get rid of any evidence? I'm not sure. I think that's a fair question.
And Usher is talked about a lot, and though a lot of people see him as a potential victim in all this because he was so young when he was sent to live with P. Diddy, essentially, a lot of people are also painting him as somewhat of a villain because he introduced a very young Justin Bieber to that world. Has Bieber said anything about this saga?
Daily Mail says that he's very upset over it and that he's having a hard time registering it, and he's kind of shut down when it comes to the topic. But Usher was sued for giving a woman a venereal disease, not giving her a heads up about what was going on before they got together. So the halo is a little, dusty, if you ask me.
The reporter, Kinsey Schofield, seemed pretty confident talking about the celebrities linked to Diddy. While she denied the existence of any freak-offs, she did mention that Diddy has been smart about protecting his position in these situations. One of the major accusations against him is how he allegedly pulled a very young Justin Bieber into that disturbing world.
They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, it's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy. Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you wanna do? What you wanna do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some grills. Let's go get some grills.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about.
The video clearly shows Justin Bieber hanging out with Diddy at the parties. In it, Diddy talks about spending 48 hours with Bieber, and when he says he can't share what they experienced, it definitely comes off as a bit suspicious. But both of them said they had a good time, and Diddy was looking out for Justin during that time.
And it's really alarming. You know, we were talking about it yesterday. One, these parties had a lot of individuals. In fact, the U.S. says that the parties would sometimes go on for days. So there are a lot of individuals involved, and yet, and they say this has been going on for more than 10 years, and yet we didn't hear about that. So that means that all the people that were involved, according to the feds, that he managed to keep them all quiet. Nobody would speak about it, and that does sort of speak to the kind of power he wielded and the fear that people had of him. We were also talking about the fact that the beating of Cassie, which was captured on the hotel surveillance video.
The reporter says that officials and important people have been involved in Diddy's parties for the past 10 years, and Diddy keeps them all quiet using his power, which people are pretty intimidated by.
You have a desk, you have a plastic chair, you have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. So you have a basic 15 square feet. It is a horrible, horrible place.
These lawyers were so eager to keep him out of jail, they offered his palatial $48 million home in Miami Beach and his private jets as bail. Today, they are even offering to restrict female visitors to his home, except for his mother, daughters, and the mothers of his children if he is released. They told the judge the jail he was being sent to is dreadful, dirty, inhuman, and an ongoing tragedy.
So now Diddy is stuck in a tiny jail cell in Brooklyn, just 15 square feet, which is pretty rough. The court has even limited female visitors at his house, only allowing his mom and sister to see him. His situation is described as an ongoing tragedy.
It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal.
More legal trouble for Sean Diddy Combs, who now faces an 11th lawsuit. Talia Graves was 25 years old, dating a Bad Boy Records executive back in 2001 when she claims she was summoned to a meeting with Sean Diddy Combs, given a drink that caused her to briefly lose consciousness, then awoke to find herself bound and restrained. Graves says she was raped by Combs and later found out the incident was recorded.
Now, people are starting to speak out against Diddy. A woman even came forward at a conference, saying that Diddy drugged her at the studio and assaulted her.
I knew I used to wait outside of Turkish baths for him. You know what they do in the Turkish baths?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay. That's where a lot of gay men meet. And they all take hot baths together. That's a lot of that these guys get into when they start having certain meetings with certain people and they meet them at the Turkish bath and they do their meetings and they meet their people in those type of situations where they're comfortable at. So they don't have to worry about their indiscretions coming out. You mean? You understand what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, me and the driver be outside. He'll run into the Turkish bath.
Speaking to more people, we found out that these 2 individuals, and we have actually spoken to one of them. They are both sex workers. One of them says that they had an interaction with Diddy in 2014, and they are willing to tell the feds what they know about that interaction. And another one said that they are willing, and not only willing, but have been subpoenaed to go before jury. So the second person could end up going before the grand jury. At this stage, they are just going to be interviewed by prosecutors clearly trying to figure out what these other witnesses know and how they can help them convict Diddy, and that's the name of the game at this point for the Fed.
The question is if there is going to be a jury, because yesterday you reported that a former warden had a warning for Diddy that he should watch his back in prison.
Yeah, look, he's going to be in this at Brooklyn, MDC Brooklyn. Who knows? It could be up to a year before this trial begins. And obviously, they're going to be, his attorneys have said that they're going to try to get him moved to a different facility.
2 more workers, including his bodyguard, are stepping up to be witnesses against Diddy in front of the grand jury. The bodyguard even called Diddy the bad boy in a podcast, which adds to the pressure. This means Diddy might be stuck in jail for a while longer.
Man, somebody done called me. I done seen, man, some station on my social devices is too much cooning and buffooning. Too much cooning and buffooning. And believe me, when I get my thoughts together, I'm gonna figure out a way to articulate myself. Cause this conversation ain't even for the whole world to hear. It's just for us. Believe me, they saying you cooning and buffooning. Believe me. And they loving every minute of it. I'm telling y'all today, I ain't got the time. I ain't got the time. If it ain't about going up, about being positive, about getting some money, loving God, too much coonery, buffoonery going on. The culture, though, I'm not even saying nothing about it because I'm just so burnt out. I will be saying out that I'm in amazement on what's going on in the world. But hey, who am I?